Hello guys, in today's section we are going to discuss an introduction to network security. Why do we need network security? How can we secure a network? So at the first point we are going to discuss what is a network. After that we will discuss what is the need of network security, and then the different attacks on the networks, and also we'll discuss the principle of security, how can we achieve security, and then an approach to security. At the first point, what is network? A network is an interconnection of multiple devices to exchange information. Today everyone is accessing the internet, and you are able to use WhatsApp or Facebook to talk with friends, to chat with family members easily. This is because of network. Easily we can exchange information, even if you are in another country or in another continent. Easily you can communicate, you can talk with your friend through the internet. This is because the internet is a big network. It is the connection of multiple networks. Let us see an example of a network. Like this diagram shows the connection of multiple systems. We are having one system here, another one here, like that. We are having internet, and then we are having some servers here, some devices, multiple devices interconnected in order to exchange information. But would you like people to intercept your information and read it? Let's say you are in India and you are exchanging information with your friend in the USA or in Europe. Would you like your friend to, like another person, another unauthorized person, to intercept and read your message? No, you don't want that. Or let's say you are authenticating to your bank account, like you want to transfer some money to your friend. You need to enter your bank account and password. Would you like someone else to intercept this information and come to know about your password and your bank account? No, you don't want that. That is where comes network security into play. So that is the need of network security, because the network traffic can be captured by anyone else on the internet, and the internet is public, so anyone can access it, and your information can be intercepted by anyone. So for attackers to be able to capture your information and read it, we are having some types of attack or some approaches that they use to do it. Like we are having a man in the middle attack, we are having denial of service attack, DDoS attack, distributed denial of service, we are having SYN flood attack, we are having SMUF attack, Fraggle attack, ping flood attack, ping of dead attack, teardrop attack, land attack, zero-day exploit attack, domain name service spoofing attack, social engineering attack, phishing attack, buffer overflow attack, malicious software. We are using malicious software. We are having brute force attack, dictionary attack, sniffing or replay attack. So I will try to explain some among those attacks, but not all of them. I just listed many of the kind of attacks there so that you can come to be familiar with them. If you want to know more about them, you can just Google them and be familiar with them. So how does a man in the middle attack? So this is a pictorial representation of how a man in the middle attack works. We are having two endpoints, Alice and Bob. If Alice wants to send information to Bob, normally, logically, the information need to flow from Alice to Bob directly, but because we are having an attacker here, a hacker here, is redirecting the traffic from Alice to his system, and then from his system to Bob's system, so that whatever the flow of information that will happen in between Alice and Bob, it comes to know them. He will capture the information. If he wants to modify it, he will modify it before sending it to Bob. In the same way, if Bob sends information to Alice also, he will capture it, he will read the information, and then he will modify it if he wants, and before sending it to Alice. So how can we prevent it from happening, so that even if the attacker is able to capture the traffic from Bob, which is going to Alice, he will not be able to read it? How can we do that? We're having another type of attack also. Before explaining how can we prevent that, we are having like the SYN flood attack. In the SYN flood attack, we are having a server there, and we're having an attacker. What attacker will do here is he will modify his address, like a MAC address or IP address, and then he will flood a packet and send it to the server. Now the server in turn will try to respond with a SYN plus acknowledgement to the victim address, because the attacker has flooded his address. Now if the server reply to the victim address will not acknowledge it. At the same time, once the server replies with reply with a SYN plus acknowledgement, he will open the TCP stack and then allocate a section for that, and waiting for the response of the client so that a section can be established. But as the packet was flooded, he will not get response. The attacker will keep sending it until the TCP stack will get exhausted, and then if another person wants to access the server, he will not be able to access it, because the TCP stack is exhausted. The server is not able to establish another section. That is how the SYN flood attack works. So how can we prevent this to happen from happening? Another kind of attack also is buffer overflow attack. A buffer overflow attack here is it work on the login portal. If you want to log to your account, we are having a limit length of string. Normally if you enter more than the limit length, the server should not accept. But most of the language, most of the website or apps that use C language, they will be having this kind of problem, the buffer overflow. If you enter the exceeded length of the acceptable length, he will accept, and when the server accepts that, the server will get crashed. That is how it works. So coming back to this scenario, how can we prevent this from happening? Even if the attacker was able to capture the information, can we implement some protocol so that even if he captured it, he will not be able to read it? Yes, this is where we need the concept of network security. So this is where comes the concept of network security. What are the principles of network security? Network security can be achieved through the confidentiality, the integrity, and availability. And the confidentiality, it is achieved through the IEEE, identification, authentication, authorization, and accountability. And the integrity is achieved through encryption, availability, through backup or redundancy. Coming back to confidentiality, if you want to log in, to access any services, you need to give your identity, your account. Then you need to give a password. This is authentication. Then the server will check in his database whether whatever you have given is correct or not. If yes, then the server will authorize you access to the resources, and then the server will be monitoring, not the server but some system will be monitoring the network through the IDS, IPS. Whatever you'll be doing will be monitored, and then if anything goes wrong, they can track you back. That is accountability, and you will be held accountable. Now, integrity, we are having many type of protocols. We are having multiple protocols we can use for encryption, through the VPN. We can implement layer 2. Let me show this. So through VPN we can implement PPTP, which means PPTP, which means point-to-point tunneling protocols. This is one protocol used at the data link layer for end-to-end encryption. We are having IP security, IPsec. It is also used at data link layer for end-to-end protocols encryption. We are having also layer 2 tunneling protocol. This also is used as protocol of data link layer for end-to-end encryption. So integrity can be achieved through encryption, and also encryption is achieved through those protocols. We're having also many types of encryption, but we will not discuss that here. Now, availability can be achieved through the backup or redundancy. Let's say that we are having our database there, and we need it to be available every day. In that purpose, we can back up the database, and also we can get a remote site. Remote site comes under redundancy, so that if our database server fails or get down, automatically the remote site will get up, and then the service will continue. And also the backup, we are having many types of backup. We are having differential backup. We are having full backup. So now let's see what kind of approach can we take to achieve the confidentiality, the integrity, and availability. We are having 3 approaches to network security. We're having technical or logical security, administrative security, and physical security. Most of the time people think that when we are talking about network security, it is only technical security, but no, we are having administrative and physical also. So what is there in technical security? In technical security, it consists of implementing some technical means to filter the network, to monitor the network, and also to prevent the attacker from accessing our resources. Like we are having the IDS, IPS, intrusion detection system or intrusion prevention system. We're having access control list, the firewall, VPN that I already explained. We are having honeypot or PADCell. Already you know what is a VPN, not VPS. So IDS or IPS, those are some devices used to monitor the network. We're having 2 types of IDS, behavioral based IDS or knowledge based IDS. Behavioral based IDS will be monitoring the network based on some known kind of attacks. So if those abnormal behavior occurs, the IDS will alert send an alert alarm to the administrator. In the same way, IPS intrusion prevention system, as the name says, prevent. In case some kind of abnormal behavior occurs on the network, this system is able to modify the configuration of the network to block the malicious software or the abnormal behavior of the network. That is why we calling it intrusion prevention system. Next to that, we are having access control list. Access control list is used to filter the traffic. Who can access what kind of services, who can access what resources based on their system, their IP address or whatever. The firewall also acts same way like as ACL. And then we are having honeypot. Honeypot, it is like let's say a fake system that we will keep in the network and open some resources in order to like attract the attacker. If the attacker is on the network and trying to access our resources, this honeypot will be there in the network and behave like the main resource of the network, and then the attacker will go to that one, wasting more time there, so that the administrator can take some measure to prevent it. And padded cell also, it is acting same like honeypot. In padded cell, we are going to keep a fake system there, and then keep the IDS IPS monitoring the network. If he detect any abnormal behavior in the network, automatically he will send it to the padded cell and send an alarm, an alert to the administrator, so that the time the attacker will be wasting on the padded cell, the administrator can take some action to prevent the attack from happening. So next to that, we are having the administrative security. Administrative security, it can be like training the employee, our security awareness, so that everyone come to know what is there, because the employee need to know that they should not use the pen drive to plug into the system, like onto the server system. This can compromise the system. And also we are having some global standard and regulations that we need to comply with. The administrator need to take care of those things, and also he can also implement some banner and also patching like up-to-date update of all the application, because the patch will be released only when the vulnerability is discovered. So if we don't have up-to-date patching, attackers can easily compromise our system. And also penetration testing. Penetration testing is called due diligence in the concept of security, or due care. The attacker sometimes need to do a penetration testing to discover what is the vulnerability on the network, so that he can take some measure of prevention. Next to that, we are having the physical security. Physical security is achieved through the security guards of fences, some locks, some doors, some biometric control, or CCTV, closed security TV. So it is all for today's section. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back soon.